Okay, so today we're going to be talking about theme. I don't know if you have heard of theme, but theme is an underlying message or reoccurring idea. So it's kind of your takeaway and what the book is talking about a lot. So to start off, we're going to read Corduroy and just pay attention to the ideas that come up a lot or what like the moral of the story is. So just pay attention. Corduroy is a bear who once lived in the toy department of a big store. Day after day, he waited with all the other animals and dolls for somebody to come along and take him home. The store was always filled with shoppers buying all sorts of things, but no one ever seemed to want a small bear in green overalls. Then one morning, a little girl stopped and looked straight into Corduroy's bright eyes. "Oh, Mommy," she said, "look, there's the very bear I've always wanted." "Not today, dear," her mother sighed. "I've spent too much already. Besides, he doesn't look new. He's lost a button to one of his shoulder straps." Corduroy watched them sadly as they walked away. "I didn't know I'd lost a button," he said to himself. "Tonight I'll go and see if I can find it." Late that evening, when all the shoppers had gone and the doors were shut and locked, Corduroy climbed carefully down from his shelf and began searching everywhere on the floor for his lost button. Suddenly, he felt the floor moving under him. Quite by accident, he had stepped onto an escalator, and up he went. Could this be a mountain, he wondered? I think I've always wanted to climb a mountain. He stepped off the escalator as it reached the next floor, and there, before his eyes, was a most amazing sight. Tables and chairs and lamps and sofas, and rows of beds. "This must be a palace," Corduroy gasped. I guess I've always wanted to live in a palace." He wandered around admiring the furniture. "This must be a bed," he said. "I've always wanted to sleep in a bed," and up he crawled onto a large, thick mattress. All at once he saw something small and round. "Why, here's my button," he cried, and he tried to pick it up. But like all the other buttons on the mattress, it was tied down tight. He yanked and pulled with both paws until pop! Off came the button, and off the mattress Corduroy toppled, bang into a tall floor lamp. Over it fell with a crash. Corduroy didn't know it, but there was someone else awake in the store. The night watchman was going his rounds on the floor above. When he heard the crash, he came dashing down the escalator. "Now who in the world did that?" he exclaimed. "Somebody must be hiding around here." He flashed his light under and over sofas and beds until he came to the biggest bed of all, and there he saw two fuzzy brown ears sticking up from under the cover. "Hello," he said. "How did you get upstairs?" The watchman tucked Corduroy under his arm and carried him down the escalator and set him on the shelf in the toy department with the other animals and dolls. Corduroy was just waking up when the first customers came into the store in the morning. And there, looking at him with a wide, warm smile, was the small little girl he'd seen only the day before. "I'm Lisa," she said, "and you're going to be my very own bear. Last night I counted what I've saved in my piggy bank, and my mother said I could bring you home." "Shall I put him in a box for you?" the saleslady asked. "Oh, no, thank you," Lisa answered, and she carried Corduroy home in her arms. She ran all the way up 4 flights of stairs into her family's apartment and straight into her own room. Corduroy blinked. There was a chair and a chest of drawers, and alongside the girl-sized bed stood a little bed just the right size for him. The room was small, nothing like the enormous palace in the department store. "This must be home," he said. "I know I've always wanted a home." Lisa sat down with Corduroy on her lap and began to sew a button on his overalls. "I like the way you are," she said, "but you'll be more comfortable with your shoulder strap fastened." "You must be a friend," said Corduroy. "I've always wanted a friend." "Me too," said Lisa, and gave him a big hug. Okay, so what was one of the things that you noticed that happened throughout the book? What's something that just kept coming up?
I don't know. Just kidding.
Did you guys notice an underlying message? Was there a message in the book?
Yeah, there's someone who thinks they're not, good enough because someone said that they weren't, and so they try to, change who they are, but then he was okay, and he was purchased by a girl.
Yeah. So So could we say that's kind of like self-esteem? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, self-esteem. So let's say that's our theme right here. Self-esteem. So kind of being confident in who you are and your worth.
Yeah.
Good. Is there another one that you guys noticed throughout the book?
He keeps trying to find the button. I mean, he didn't give up. So I think like working hard to find yourself, or like keep trying.
Yeah, I like that. We'll just write keep trying. We could say like perseverance or things like that, but I really like the keep trying. That's great. Okay, so those are two things that are kind of themes. So what are you noticing about these words? Are they, like we didn't say the button, and we didn't say a bear. They're kind of more big ideas, right? Big concepts. So that's kind of what a theme is. It's something that's throughout the book, something you take away, this big idea that this book is about. Does that kind of make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any questions about that? Okay. So in a second, you guys are going to have to do this for yourself in your importance of being earnest that we've been talking about. So I'm going to show you how to fill out this worksheet that we're going to do. Hopefully it looks like some of the other worksheets you guys have been doing with like the 2 columns and things you need to fill out. So on this side right here, we need the textual evidence. So when you were talking about self-esteem, what was one of the examples you gave? What was something that happened in the book?
Well, when he felt like he had to find his button so he could change who he was, but then she ended up like taking him home anyway. So maybe, I don't know, I guess the most important part is like taking him home.
Yeah. So he like searched for his button. I guess first someone told him that he didn't have a button, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, that's right.
no button is what we'll write.
Mm-hmm.
No button, search for button, and then girl liked him anyway, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so in the textual evidence, for this one we're just kind of saying what happened, but when you guys do it with the importance of being earnest, I want you to find quotes. So find you can do one quote if that's all you can find, but I'd like it if you found more than one quote that is talking about this big theme that you're talking about. And then the connection, the theme and connection. So here's the theme that we wrote down, and the connection is, let's see. So here's the textual evidence. So he's good just the way he is, right? That's kind of the connection. So he is good the way he is. Okay, so we're going to do one more example together just to make sure you guys really understand it. So with this one, keep trying. What happened throughout the book? What's our textual evidence?
He like searched it on the bed. He looked under the lamp. Yeah.
He was kind of resourceful, like he like was trying to like use a button like from a bed, so like wasn't maybe like his original button, like because he didn't know where his original button was.
Mm-hmm.
He like thought of different ways he could solve this problem.
Yeah. I think we could put that in resourceful. Good. Okay. So with our connection, what do you think we can put there?
So, I have a question.
Yeah.
So, what's the difference between like theme and connection?
So your theme is the big idea, right? And so this is just how you're going to explain it. So if you say the theme is self-esteem, then you kind of have to tell me why, right? So you have this evidence, or you have this textual evidence, and then you have to kind of explain why him not having a button and him searching for his button has to do with self-esteem.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of justifying what you're using.
Oh.
Yeah, does that make sense?
Okay, so you're just kind of explaining like, or just like giving a message or something about the theme, or?
Yeah, so if I say, what's the theme, and you just said one word, then afterwards you'd usually have to explain it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is the explanation.
Okay.
Yeah, perfect. So what do you think the explanation would be? He searched all around. The takeaway is keep trying. What's our connection? Yeah.
He used different methods to reach his goal, which is to find the button.
Yeah. Very good. Methods. His goal. Awesome, very good. So now I'm going to have you guys do this on your own. So if you could get out those worksheets that I gave you, we're going to be working with those. Take a second to get it out. Perfect. So now we're going to brainstorm as a class really quick. What are some of the themes and the importance of being earnest? So what are some of the big ideas, some of the things we learn?
Don't say lie. Don't tell lie.
Yeah! Don't lie. Very good. What else?
I think we talked about like there's like a lot of ironic stuff in there.
Mm-hmm. Good. Yeah, there's some irony. That's definitely how they get their message across, is through all the irony, right? And the humor. Good. What other ideas do we have that go throughout?
I feel like there's a lot of like hidden agendas in the story. Like they all kind of like have a different thing that they're seeking. So yeah, they kind of each have like a hidden agenda.
Mm-hmm. Good. So they're like different goals they're trying to accomplish.
Mm-hmm.
Good. What about their names? Is there anything there? Are their names important?
Yeah, just like how he has a different name in one house and a different name in the other.
Mm-hmm. How his name kind of gives him some freedom. He's able to...
So like identity.
Yeah, identity. That's good. And how the girls both were like, I would never marry someone who's not named Ernest.
Yeah.
So their names are definitely important. There's something in that, right? It gives them this power to go different places, and yeah, it's a really important theme. What else? Is there anything else you guys see?
We talked about like trivial stuff. Triviality.
Yeah, there's lots of things that aren't important that they think are, right? Triviality, maybe priorities. Anything else? What about family? They couldn't get married because he didn't know who his family was, or she wouldn't, the mom had to approve before they could get married. So family's a lot in there too.
And maybe like ideals. Like
Yeah.
an ideal, situation.
Right. There's what they think they should be and what people expect of them, and yeah, there's a lot of ideology in there. Very good. Any other themes you guys can think of right now? That's okay, this is a really good list. So as you can see, there's a lot of different themes you can get out of one piece of text. There's no right or wrong answer. It's just something that you notice that goes throughout. And so now what I want you guys to do is I want you to work on your worksheets. You can work with a partner, you can work on your own, and you can use these themes if you want, or you can come up with your own. So make sure you put the theme over here, and then you write the different evidence, so the different places you see that theme happen, and write it over here, and then write why that's a theme and why